Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Youth Leadership Conference here in Washington, D.C. My name is Tim Harrison. I am a Public Relations Director at Smart Media Education. Smart Media's mission is to educate youth and parents on a critical way to consuming modern media. Let's go start off by giving the Webster's definition of critical thinking. It's a mental process of reviewing clear, rational thoughts based on evidence to reach an answer or a conclusion. Webster's goes on to say that the process of critical thinking is associated with accuracy, logic, depth, fairness, credibility, and intellectual clarity. So basically it's saying, you must manage by the facts and not by opinion. Let's put this to the test by looking at the 2016 presidential election. Back in 1988, when I was able to vote for the first time, the choices were George Bush and not W. It was W's daddy against Michael Dukakis. Who was that, you ask? Yeah, exactly. Bush, running on the coattails of his predecessor, Ronald Reagan, beat Dukakis 426 electoral votes to 111, and he carried 40 of the 50 states. Now, as critical thinking here shows, we have two candidates running. One, Hillary Clinton, and two, Donald Trump. Trump has Fox News Channel backing him up, as well as the New York Post, and Clinton has CNN, as well as the Dallas Morning News. In this election, you got internet, radio, magazines, newspaper, and television. But you also have social media. So you got Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, just to name a few. I like to call this 2016 election straight out of options, because out of 320 million people, we couldn't come up with anybody better in the U.S. Let's also look at how these two news medias took on the releasing of a statement put out on October 29th by FBI Director James Comey. He released a letter to Congress stating that the FBI is reviewing emails that have pertinent information in the closed investigation into Clinton's private server in regards to Anthony Weiner. The graph below kind of shows from Business Insider how the media stacks up. So Fox News here is leaning more towards the conservative part, and you'll see here CNN is more towards the liberal part. The average respondent's right here in the middle. So you can see both sides are leaning kind of far each way. Now, how the two news agencies decided to report on this: Fox News decided that the story was more of a criminal investigation. Weiner's wife, being one of Clinton's top aides, and deleting the emails was a criminal act. One Fox News reporter actually went as far as saying Clinton could clear herself of wrongdoing if she's elected president. So basically she can give herself a presidential pardon. CNN was reporting this more as a personal attack. So they focus more on this being released to influence the voters who are undecided to go towards Trump. And her campaign even went as far as saying they unleashed a blistering attack on the FBI director, accusing him of being irresponsible, light on facts, and heavy on innuendo. Media bias? Nah, not at all. Even when, both electoral maps here, on this side for Fox and on this side for CNN, Fox, even though they have Clinton winning, they have Trump with 255 delegates, where over here they got 204. So, this is kind of important, in case of a swing state, being really close to call. They could do recount ballots and all that other good stuff like they did back with Gore and Bush. So let's look at critical thinking for advertising. We have this one here is called critical thinking advertising for an implicit argument. An implicit argument means it's implied that if you do this or certain events happen, that you have a good chance of this coming true. So this one here, Old Spice, there's a gentleman, who's ripped, riding a white horse, which makes him look like a hero, with a bunch of diamonds in his hand, and his logic is smell like a man, be a man, instead of wearing girly perfume. The one in the middle, Axe Body Spray, says that even angels will fall from heaven if you take and you use Axe Body Spray. So basically, they'll give up their spot in heaven to become, one of your suitors. Up here, guys are wanting to watch the big game, and the daughter wants to play Tea Party dress up with her dad, and all of his friends are outside waiting on him. Well, she convinces her dad to take and be part of the tea party by offering him all Doritos. So then when the guys come in and see Daddy and Doritos, they all want to dress up as well. Down here it says Absolute Vodka makes the world's best drinks. So they're telling you that, if you have Absolute Vodka, you can have a big old raging party just like this one. This one here is one of my favorites. It's for Audi A3. Basically, a husband wants a ferocious guard dog, and the wife wants a little, toy dog. So the guy at the pet store says, well, hey, why not have both? Let's cross them. So basically, Audi 3 is saying, we don't compromise. We only want quality, so therefore we want to do craziness like this dog here. Critical thinking and advertising an explicit argument. An explicit argument means that it could actually happen. So, chances are, that if you do this, something bad like this, there's a bigger chance that it could happen. So, one of the ones here, Dove Real Beauty Campaign, this was taken by Dove back in the early 2000s. They wanted to say that every woman was beautiful, and based not only on her physical appearance, but her, her attributes as well. So that's where they came up with this campaign. Here's one of my favorite commercials of all time. Eminem driving a Chrysler 300 in Detroit. This commercial was back in the Super Bowl, and it shows Eminem going through the city of Detroit, where everyday hardworking individuals, put out a good product. And even though that we were suffering from the recession at the time, the auto industry bounced back. And, what they're saying here is that instead of importing a luxury car from somewhere else, let's buy American, made by, proud Americans. A different kind of Absolute on the ice, as a pun to the one in the previous slide showing the Absolute Party. This one's Absolute with an E. Basically saying drinking and driving, you're going to end up eventually, cold as ice on a morgue slab somewhere. Up here, texting and driving. It's, this is a pretty gruesome pitch. I'm glad they kind of, faded it out a little bit. It's a guy driving his car while texting, and he doesn't see a little girl running out in front of him with a ball. And this one here is youth smoking. It's basically showing that, if you smoke, it's like a loaded gun to the head. Nobody ever wins from smoking. Your best outcome is lung cancer and dying. Critical thinking, media awareness. To compare and contrast information as provided, you take and you make decisions based on fact, evidence, and not by opinion or implicit suggestion. Rasmussen University actually put out a thing in 2012 listing the 6 critical skills. One is interpretation, which is interpreting skills which will enable you to better decode information and add clarity to what you have discovered. Analysis, having the ability to connect pieces of information in order to determine what the intended meaning of the information was meant to be. Inference, to understand and recognize what elements you will need in order to determine the accurate conclusion from information that you have at your disposal. Evaluation, being able to evaluate the credibility of statements or descriptions of a person's experience. Explanation, the ability not only to restate information, but add clarity and perspective to the information, so it can be fully understood by anyone you are sharing it with. And finally, self-regulation, having the awareness of your own thinking abilities and the elements that you are using to find results. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes my presentation for today. I thank you for your time, and I hope that after this presentation you understand the need for critical thinking with modern media. Have a good day, and thank you.